Hey everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. It is Saturday, and I got a question for you. Have you ever heard the term Potemkin village? Well, a Potemkin village is an impressive facade or construction built to conceal an undesirable reality, making a situation appear better than it is to deceive observers. The term originates from an apocryphal story about a Russian, Grigory Potemkin, constructing fake settlements to impress Empress Catherine during her visit to Crimea in the late 18th century. Nowadays it's used both in a literal and figurative sense to describe any deceptive or artificial display meant to hide a poor truth. Tell you the Potemkin principle is a hallmark of a socialist regime, a liberal regime, a labor regime. You know, it describes Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the UK, the Western Commonwealth. It's part of every social, political, environment, practice, or policy. Now, a good example of this is Great Britain's housing issues. It's a multi-layered problem, and it's been building for decades. It's not new, but right now, just look at today. There's already just a huge lack of social housing for British citizens alone. Brits in need. Well, and the country's been, by design, just overrun with thousands of illegal immigrants. And I mean, like here in Canada too, they've been putting them up in hotels, right? Splashing millions of dollars on support and supplies for them, and it doesn't work. It's throwing money down the drain. The UK has adopted what they now call a one-in, one-out policy. This is supposed to sort out their immigrant problem. Another example, a really good example of, throwing money at a program, money and resources. It's something that it's not going to work. This one in, one out policy they've got with France, so they're sending France just millions of dollars. And the idea is France will send an illegal over, and Britain will send back one that's already here. Even if it worked, it accomplishes nothing and costs the taxpayers millions of dollars. But they're hoping that they can say they've got a policy, and look, they are moving immigrants out, that it's working. It's another Potemkin. This stuff is right. Classic Potemkin. And if that's not enough, Angela Rayner, Secretary of State for Housing, she was also the Deputy Prime Minister in Britain, in the Labour government there. She had to resign in shame from both of her posts after the findings of the Ethics Committee, headed by Sir Laurie Magnus, they concluded that she did not, quote, meet the highest possible standards of proper conduct. What she had done, she breached the ministerial code by not paying enough stamp duty on her second home. Well, it turns out it's actually her third home now, but this latest purchase is what did her in. Turns out she raided her disabled son's pension trust for the down payment, but she failed to pay £40,000 worth of tax on the purchase. You know? And we saw another nod to Potemkin during Trump's visit, his state visit just this week. As we know, London's a mess, like any big cities here in the GTA for sure, Toronto. London's a mess. Crime in the streets surging. Illegal immigrants are everywhere. The streets are filthy. The roads are in disrepair. When you can't, when they're open, you can hardly drive anywhere. The trains are unpredictable at best. When they're not on strike, when they're running, which is rare. Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London, openly foments hatred towards Trump and the West in general. And while he was in London, there was anti-Trump protests were organized in the city of London for his visit. Now that is why Trump was ushered straight to Windsor, and everything happened, all manners of the visit happened within the confines of Windsor Castle. Even as protesters were projecting pictures of Trump and Epstein on the castle walls. Charles used the Potemkin principle to bathe President Trump in opulence and goodwill, so he didn't have to meet with Sadiq Khan, so he didn't have to see the state of London. But Trump wasn't fooled by it. He wasn't fooled by the facade. He knows what's going on. And so far I've been talking about this in a metaphorical sense. But I tell you, here in Canada, it's a little different. They don't even try to hide it anymore. For all the same reasons as the UK, Canada's in a housing crunch. Prime Minister Carney has come to the rescue, don't you know? That's right. The government is going to build millions of affordable homes. In fact, it's already started. He had a press conference just the other day. We were treated to Carney on a new home construction site. Talking to a small crowd. The mainstream media was there, CBC, our government-run broadcaster, CTV, their little sister. It was nothing more than a photo op. Facades of the homes. A real, present-day Potemkin's village. Not just a turn of phrase. It's not real. There are no homes. By later that day, the construction site was cleared and leveled. No homes. And the mainstream media, government-owned media, reported it as truth. They're in the pocket of the socialist government. Just like the BBC, they're complicit in the deception and the lie. That's a hallmark. Another hallmark of the socialist regime. Tell ya, we're all living in Potemkin's village now. Hope you enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment, leave me a tip. We'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.